Level 1. You wake to the vibration of your phone against the nightstand and a dozen emergency tones stacking like alarms in a locked room. You expect traffic, a weather warning. Instead, your screen is a living panic. National alerts, evacuation orders, a single garbled bulletin repeating. Coastline anomaly, do not approach. The air smells off metal and saltless sea foam. Like the ocean forgot how to be ocean. You pull back the curtain, and your body shuts down for a second, because the horizon is wrong. Level 2. You run to the shoreline, because that's what you do, you need proof. The boardwalk ends in silence. Barges sit on dry ridges like tilted islands of rust. Fenders scrape cracked mud, where waves used to breathe. Whales big and impossible are marooned like mountains you could climb. Their eyes are blank as moons. Kids are climbing on a shark's back like it's playground equipment. Someone cries. Someone yells orders in a foreign language that becomes a universal tone. Level 3. Your phone becomes a faucet for the world's fear. Videos, stream imports are desserts. Tropical beaches look like moons. Cruise ships rest like dead whales near broken piers. Broadcasters stutter. A calm voice from National Emergency says nothing explanatory, only that governments cannot account for the disappearance and to conserve resources. You meet Mara on the promenades, practical hair up in a messy bun drawn in thick line. She's carrying clipboards and a jittering satellite phone. If the water is gone, the currents are gone, she says, eyes hard. Weather changes with currents. Food systems collapse. This is immediate. Level 4. You join a convoy heading inland. Radio chatter is full of grief and logistics, cargo stuck. Ports unusable, entire industries severed. Every port is a graveyard of metal shipping containers, split like bones. The supply chains that once fed cities stall overnight. You overhear Diego, a wiry former sailor with a cigarette looped in his mouth, hangry, practical. You can't just take the sea away and leave us the mess. People starve. Ports mean food, and food means life. That's when you see them ruins, half buried in silt. Straight edges that don't fit geology. Columns with angular carvings, doors long sealed in encrusted metal. Level 5. Word spreads. Beneath where the ocean used to be is architecture. Not natural. Not recent. Archaeologists are Rivlion, soft-spoken, fiercely curious. Tracing symbols with a gloved finger. She whispers patterns that echo like a translation of a different human heartbeat. The initial theory mass, siphoning by unknown forces. Seismographs show cavities beneath the crust. Mechanical vibrations like breath. You are on site when something moves. A column of steam node light triggers from a fissure. From below, a slow deliberate assembly uncoils. Smooth plates, latticework, and a ring the size of a city, lifting like a mechanical tide. Level 6. The discovery changes everything. This was not destruction. It is extraction. Then the broadcast from Commander Reyes. An explanation so small it breaks your throat. Ancient machines. Beneath the crust, activated by a solar event 3 nights ago. They are siphoning seawater to store it in engineered reservoirs below. People split into camps. Some call them saviors machines. Designed by predecessors to preserve water in catastrophic cycles. Others, like Diego, call them thieves, blaming anything that takes away food and jobs. You join a late-night meeting with Mara and Leanne. The machines aren't inert. They pulse in rhythms that match ocean tides. They are not random. They were intentionally timed. Leanne says, these machines aren't merely storing water. They're sorting it, filtering, extracting elements we've never measured on the surface. There's intent. Her voice is a knife. Level 7. You dig literally and morally. Beneath the ring, you find a chamber with inscriptions in a language that maps to nothing human until Leanne overlays star charts. The symbols aren't words. They're coordinates. Then the truth lands like thunder. The machines were seeded by an earlier iteration of intelligent life on Earth builders who anticipated cataclysmic solar cycles. Their construct is a planetary arc for water and adaptive biomes. Mara's voice in your ear. They didn't want us to drown. They wanted to survive a storm that would sterilize the surface. They built the pump. It woke up. Hope and suspicion clash in her eyes. Choices multiply. Let the machines keep the water safe below and risk long-term climate collapse. Or try to force the water back and maybe break the machines and every engineered safeguard with it. You watch Diego gather volunteers for a raid. We get the pumps offline. We get fish back, he promises. Rallying the desperate, Mara argues for patient study the filtration. Leanne wants to negotiate with the mechanism's patterns. To teach it to return small tides rather than a full ocean. You choose nothing and everything at once. The raid goes wrong. A bolt is miscast. Machines interpret the interference as a threat and begin rerouting stored water into subterranean vaults, deeper than planned. Half of the ring seals. The other half lifts in a perfect, terrible symmetry, revealing not just machines, but beings bioformed guardians that look like woven light and water. The guardians are not hostile in the way you'd expect. They study. They don't speak human words, though you feel their intention. Preservation and selection. Final act, the twist. Then the twist. The seawater wasn't the only thing stored. The machines had been sorting DNA, safeguarding genomes from the surface. But the selection was not random. It was a calculus. The archive favors resilience. Species programmed to survive intense radiation, acidified oceans, collapsed climates. The water removal was triaged to preserve a seed archive for a reborn biosphere. When you realize what the machines are doing, you also realize why humans react. Fear and hope are indistinguishable in crisis. You are offered a choice framed by Mara and Commander Reyes. Take back the water now and risk corrupting the archive, or accept controlled returns while learning to coexist with the Guardian's selection. You step forward and say what you hadn't expected to say. We build the future with what we save, and the way we save it matters. The decision is communal. It is messy. The resolution is imperfect. The machines agree if agreement can be translated into gesture to return small, manage tides, and allow a controlled receding of coasts. In exchange, humanity must protect the archive and learn its rules. In the last moments, you stand on the newly forming shoreline. Salt on your lips again, but different salt, mixed with something like promise. You don't leave with all answers. You leave with a pact to guard the archive, to balance survival with sacrifice, and to learn humility from machines that wanted to save everything by making choices you weren't ready to make. Epilogue, Hook. Months later, satellites detect a faint pattern sent outward, an encoded beacon aligning toward a distant dark. The Guardians listen. You touch the phone you woke up to. Its screen now holds a single new message. We were planted to protect. Are you ready to be the gardeners? The world did not end. It changed. And the next alarm could be the one that asks you to choose between what it means to be human and what it means to be responsible for a planet's second chance.